Yo, still Bills, what's the deal, man? Yo, we back, man. My Rello back in town. I'm about to go over to this nigga crib, crash this nigga in 2K, the dig, and just kick it with him for a minute before I before I jet set back to the cribbage, man. But peak game, I want to talk about one of the two or the few fights that I saw this past weekend, and that is Ricardo Torres, man. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm excited about this dude, man. In the sense, oh, hold on. Well, let's just pause on that. I would like to see what his ceiling is in the division, man, and if he can become a champion. And I ain't gonna cap. I think he could become a champion, man. I think the heavyweight landscape is somewhat starting to, you know, like as far as the wolves and the beasts in the division. I think the height is really starting to the height isn't really as drastic as because I look, with Joshua Wilder and Fury, them was some colossal size ass niggas, man. We got I don't think Daniel Dubois is 6'4". He could be. You dig? Joseph Parker 6'3". You dig? Jarrell Miller 6'2". Fabio Worley like 6'3". So I don't think these dudes is it's too much to get to get the shot from your fist to their chin. You dig? It's not as much length that they got to go through, man. And Guido Vianetta is one of the taller dudes in the division, man. At 6'6". That's a colossal size human being right there, man. So I like where this is going, man. I like I think he's coming up in a division where the height disparity isn't as drastic as it normally once was, man. Outside of like Jolalov, who's like six, that nigga like 6'7". That's a huge dude. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else is still good height. Don't get it fucked up. 6 foot is good height. Like Richard Torres has good height for him, man, but he's smaller for the division. You dig? This ain't the '90s or the early 2s. You dig? So I think now the height is starting to get back to what it was 20 years ago, and I think that's a good sign right there, man. But other than that, man, I loved what I saw from the dude, man. I loved what I saw from him, man. That dude is fast, man. That dude is really fast on his feet. That dude is really fast on his feet, man. Fast hands, fast feet, good counter puncher, man. Vianetta, like you can just tell, like, dude, I wasn't a fan of him getting docked a point in the second round. That's like, god damn, bro, for real. Come on, man, this early. You did, but that dude, that ref is not no bullshit ass ref, man. He gonna let you know, man. When I say stop doing something, stop doing something. You dig? And if we being real, it was logical, man, because they was already starting to boo by the time the second and the third round started coming along because the fight was just so muddy or whatever, man. But that was just due to Vianetta's inability to have an inside game. He doesn't fight well in the pocket, which at 6'6", you don't necessarily need to. Your limbs are already longer than everybody else. So why am I gonna fight a dude in the pocket that's I don't think Richard Torres is 6'2". I don't think Richard Torres is 6'2" at all, man. He may be 6 foot or 5'11" or something like that, man. So I don't think that dude is 6'2". I don't think he's 6'2". So of course you don't want to sit there and bang out in the pocket or whatever with this guy, but god damn, no inside game, man. Just like you see how you see how vulnerable this dude looks in the pocket, man. You see it. He's not he's it's like, yo, bro. It was kind of like he couldn't really fully commit to an uppercut, man. It just looks so awkward. It looks so awkward, man. But after about, I want to say, I think I had him winning like the 6th and the 7th round. But around about the 5th round is when he started to pick it up. That's when he started really putting them straights on him. That's when he started, timing him coming in a whole hell of a lot better. Because that's one thing that Richard Torres does. He darts in. But because just he rather, all right, cool. Let me at least get in, and we'll figure out how we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. How I'm gonna maneuver around this dude when I get in there. So he'll just dart in, and he's fast enough on his feet to dart in, effortlessly dart in, and he was doing that. But the thing is, you run the risk of head clashes and everything, and that happens a lot. And with him, he's a southpaw. You dig? Most fighters are orthodox fighter. So for him being a southpaw or him darting in like that, that could be detrimental. And I mean, there was a few clashes in the fight, but nothing to to the point where he got cut. I think the cut that he got was by way of a punch, not not even not a clash of heads. But he did good work, man. He did really good work. He did really landed good body shots. But the his signature punch seemed to be the right hook, and it was the counter right hook, and he would throw it off of him weaving up under, not even Guido's hook, but his jab. He was getting up under his jab and clipping him with that right hook over the top and spinning out. And that shit was landing with regularity. I'm like, yo, man, like I like what I'm seeing from the kid, man. Like this dude is dope. This dude is dope. And I remember listening to Cali X Boxing. Shout out to him. He's you got to quit bullshitting and get back on it. I need regular content from you, big homie. But he was saying that he thinks he's too small for the campaign in this division and be effective. And I understand what he was saying because, bruh, like, bruh, that was literally the land of the giants, man. But we're coming up out of that. And I don't think Anthony Joshua, damn sure Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury is going to be around long enough for him to, for him to even get a fight with them. I don't think that shit is going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen at all. But I liked what I saw, man. I honestly do. I liked what I saw. I liked what I saw, but I think now that he has the experience of being in there with somebody who's a contender in the division and is at that much of a height disadvantage, I think there's certain things that his coach should, his corner should look to implement. And I think, me personally, I would like to see him start jabbing at the chest. I would like him to start training for fights, even when even when he doesn't have a fighter that's that much more taller than him. I would like for him to start train, just consistently train like you like you fighting somebody that's Fury's height. You dig? Start putting the jab in his chest, not all the head hunting. Step in behind the jab, stab jab to the body. You dig? Just or what Lomachenko did with Devin Haney in the later rounds, man. He put the left straight in Devin Haney's chest, and it lowered his guard, and he clipped him over the top with the right, with the right hook. You dig? Just shit like that. Just come up with little tricks to put you in position to where you don't have to dart in and just cross that bridge when you come to it, but you can comfortably step in behind the shot and do real good work to where you're not so far in the pocket that you're smothering your work, and you have no other choice but to wrap up to protect yourself. Dig? You're in at a range where you can comfortably place a shot at the body, on the chin, or wherever, and get back out or spin out. Because I think his feet is really going to be his saving grace for a lot of these fights. Because that dude has fast feet. He has real fast feet and fast hands to match it as well. I'm really impressed with what I saw from Richard Torres, man. I'm not even gonna lie, man. And he won it convincingly. I only had Guido win in 2 rounds. Winning 2 rounds. That's a damn good win right there for him. That's a damn good win. And considering that he's the same height as most of the giants in the division, that is I think that's a sign of the times right there. Now, granted, the dudes who are Guido's height they're not gonna be as wiry as Guido. You have to fight motherfuckers that's built like Bacoli. You're gonna have to fight someone built like Bacoli at some point in time in your career. You're gonna have to fight a motherfucker built like Zhilei Zhang if you ever in a position where you can get to him. Hergovich is Hergovich isn't as I don't think he's as wiry as Guido, but he's 6'5". He's the same height as Guido. You dig? And Daniel Dubois. You dig? Daniel Dubois is a brolic dude. There's been some big motherfuckers. You dig me? So I really like what I saw from him. But there are, just as you step up in opposition, and I think this was a damn good acid test for him. And I think that Guido was a game opponent for a lot of the dudes up there as well. So this ain't to begrudge him or nothing like that. But this was a good acid test for him. But darting in front of somebody who's more seasoned, like let's say you in there with AJ who has a killer, rear uppercut, that could have been problematic, and just darting in like that. And Tim Bradley alluded to that, man. A simple step back time, simple, and that's easy to say timing somebody, but when somebody is fast like that on their feet, that's equivalent to saying timing Manny Pacquiao. It took Juan Manuel Marquez to place that money shot pause on Manny Pacquiao's frame. It took him 4 fights to do that. So it's easier said than done. Step back and just time them or whatever the case. That's a lot easier said than done when you're dealing with somebody with fast feet. I think Richard Torres will be a killer at cruiserweight. I think he will be a fucking killer at cruiserweight. But I think he's gonna be a damn good heavyweight as well, man. Even Michael Hunter and him in the same, they're close to the same height. They're close to the same height, man. I like Richard Torres in a lot of these fights, dude. I honestly do. I do because just and him and Moses. They have similarities as far as their fighting style is concerned. How they fence with the jab and they circle your lead hand with their jab or whatever the case may be, and just keep you guessing. They pump the jab, they up and down with the jab, they fence with it, they just pump it without committing to it to set up a shot or to score with it. They're just circling your lead hand with their jab, and I think that's right. And they dart in and out like fucking foxes, man. I love it. I love it, man. So I would like to see. I think Itoma is a little bit more progressed than Richard Torres right now, but I would like to see. I would like to see him stab into the chest a lot more. You dig? I would like to see that. I would like to see him double jab into somebody's lead hand. You dig? Spinning into somebody's lead hand. Nick Ball does that shit incredibly. Nick Ball does that shit really good, man. And for how, matter of fact, I would say go and study Nick Ball, because Nick Ball is a shorter fighter who fights these bigger dudes, and the way that he's able to debo them niggas, I think that's something. I think he should go and study Nick Ball. Watch how Nick Ball fights. He did, because he's how he did T.J. Doheny, man. Just step into that man's lead hand, putting his lead foot on the opposite, on the outside of Doheny's lead foot. He did that shit very effectively. And that's you're able to close distance a hell of a lot easier when you do that. The battle lead foot positioning, man. So I would like to see him do that. You dig? And put that backhand right in that nigga's chest. You know what I'm saying? Every shot ain't got to land up top. You dig? So that's what I would like to see him work on those things as he ascends through the rankings, because I want this dude to really get it, because we don't have any American representation in the heavyweight division. His ceiling is, at this point in time, way higher than Jared Anderson. It just is. He has the power to compete with them niggas up there at heavyweight. He has the speed, and he just has the he has the mindset and the heart and the durability to do it as well. The durability to do it as well, man. I think Jared, if anyone needs to go down to cruiserweight, it would be Jared Anderson. I would say Jared Anderson needs to go down there. But Richard Torres, at this point, what I saw with him against Guido, I keep saying Guido, and I always thought that was a derogatory name towards Italians, man. Guido, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but clearly it can't be. Clearly it can't be, because that's that man's first name. But I would like to see that from Richard Torres, man. Good win. Damn good win. Let's see what's next for you. And yeah, and I like for the shorter dudes to put on for those divisions, man. I love it. I like for the shorter dudes to get to put on for those divisions, and he's a shorter dude that's putting on for those divisions. So shout out to him. I'm ready to see what Guido is going to do next, but I'm really ready to see what Richard Torres does next, man. And that's how I'm feeling about it, man. I'm about to go shoot 2K with my Relo, and I'll get with y'all later, yo. Doses.